Welcome to Phoenix Healing Podcast, where mental health is our number one priority, featuring Liam Z. Muniz. Enjoy. Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to Phoenix Healing Podcast, where mental health is our number one priority, with your host, Liam Z. Muniz, of course. First and foremost, I hope you are feeling well. How are you? Hope you're having a fantastic morning, day, evening, night, whatever it may be for you, because you, my beautiful soul, are deserving of the best and only the best things the universe has to offer, period. So in this episode, I wanted to sit down. It's going to be part of this series of Dear Diary, and we're going to kind of digest, dissect, and try to understand why is it that for me, it's hard to accept love or help from others. Like, I'll get deeper into it, but it feels hard to do that. So, of course, before we get too deep into the topic, let's do some affirmations so that we may ground ourselves in this space, in our energy, and be able to authentically express and connect with one another from wherever you are. Okay, so I don't know, I feel a little antsy right now. So I need a moment to just breathe, as humans should be doing on a regular basis. Alrighty. It is okay for me to not be okay. It is okay for me to be myself around people. It is okay for me to be vulnerable around other people. It is safe for me to express authentically. It is safe for me to simply be. I show up with every aspect of my being. I accept every aspect of my being. I love every aspect of my being. I understand that not everyone is going to understand me, and that's okay. I give myself the space, the time, and energy to heal and evolve. I allow myself to find comfort in uncomfortable situations. I allow myself to expand my mind and perceptions of the world and myself. I allow myself to view myself as a hero. I allow myself to view myself as a warrior. I allow myself to walk away from people, places, and things of which don't make me feel safe or fulfilled in those moments. I accept people and places and things into my life who bring more happiness and positive energy into my space when they are around. It is safe for me to connect with others. I allow myself to be vulnerable in places that are filled with a lot of people. It is okay for me to not be okay. And in those spaces, in those moments, it is okay for me to express how I am feeling. It is okay for me to share my emotions and my thoughts with those of which are going to actually sit and listen. It is okay for me to simply exist. Mwah. Little kissy for you. Okay, so let's get into the topic, because this is something that I've always felt deep within me, but I didn't really acknowledge it because I confused it for other things. You know, I'm someone who a lot of times I do things with the thought of intention of making others feel some way, you know, like with the intention of helping others, or just even sometimes subconsciously I do things because I know that it's going to get some kind of perception towards me from another person. Like it'll make someone see me some kind of way, And that's kind of where we get into this topic where it's like sometimes when I allow myself to be myself, I quickly retract and I go back to being whatever version of myself I feel is best rather than the version of myself that is in that moment, you know? And I do that so much. And it puts a lot of pressure on me and it makes me feel like I can't connect or be intimate with people. And I'm someone who loves to socialize, right? And I've noticed a lot that sometimes when I'm socializing with others, I get like this, my mind goes blank, and everything that I feel passion for and the things that I love to do, they like disappear because in my mind that's not what's valuable, you know? And that's such a terrible perspective to have upon yourself, right? Viewing that the things that make you you aren't valuable. And so when people offer their help or they give me their love in my mind because of my conditionings and my limiting perspectives, I'm like, well, I don't deserve that, right? And it makes my heart feel so fucking heavy because I'm opening the space to view myself the way that I am authentically, and I'm starting to really love who I see. You know, I'm starting to really love Liamzy, but when it comes to other people seeing that, and I know that they see it because people tell me all of the time, but I always feel within me where it's like, I need to do this on my own. I need to take care of my emotions on my own. I need to take care of my mind on my own because I don't want my burdens to be your burdens. Because I don't want to project my emotions and the craziness that happens in my mind sometimes onto those people who are just trying to help me. And even when they're trying to help me, in my mind, it's like, well, what are you trying to get out of me? You know what I'm saying? Because of some of my past experiences with certain connections where I was I was used more to gain something rather than just, you know, sharing an equally intimate space with one another. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like I view myself almost like this child who's still broken, who's still held in chains, who's still locked between these four walls, and it's hard to remove that perspective from my mind to not see myself that way because you know that's where a lot of my wounds and trauma stems from, right? Feeling that I'm trapped, feeling like I can't make my own decisions, feel like there's always someone there to overrule what I say and always tell me that, oh, what you do or your way of thinking isn't the right way of thinking, right? Like I used to feel like as a child I used to feel like my thoughts and my emotions weren't really important because there was always so much happening around me, right? Like everyone else had their problems and everyone else was like, you know, constantly battling something, whether it's with another person or internally. So in my mind, I'm like, you know, I don't want to add on to that. Like, if anything, I really tried to be the peacemaker as a child. You know, I try to alleviate some of those pains or make people laugh or make them feel like they're comfortable and they're safe and that they're not alone when the whole time that's what I wanted, right? And so now it's like I'm trying to provide that for myself, but because we do need that human interconnections, right? It's starting to feel very difficult to continue to carry any baggage or burdens or internal wounds on my own. And I do want help. I really, really do. And the battle internally is that as much as I want help, when someone offers me that help or when someone is like, "Oh, I care about you. I'm here for you." It's hard for me to accept it, and sometimes it's even hard for me to believe it. And and it fucking sucks. And I'm in no way trying to like place myself in any kind of victimization or victim mindset because I don't like to view things that way. But like, you see, like, sometimes just expressing my emotions or what I go through internally to another person, I feel guilty for doing that. And I'm like, bro, like, I want someone there to listen to me, but when there is, I feel guilty for talking about myself. I feel guilty for telling them about the shitty things that sometimes passes through my mind, right? I feel guilty for them sitting there and listening and trying to help me and giving me their love and offering me different things. And like, it's gotten to some point where it's like, I want to forcefully place myself in spaces around people who I know are going to help me so that I can learn and kind of practice to be open to it. But obviously, you know, when we're starting something new like that, especially when it goes against, you know, certain conditionings or certain wounds within you, it's going to feel so uncomfortable and it's going to feel very difficult. And that's what I've been feeling so much lately. Like, it's like I've been craving this intimacy with human fucking beings, you know, apart from just being online, because one of my love languages is quality time and physical, right? Physical love or physical intimacy. And so that's what I've been craving more, you know, and I don't even mean like sexual, like just being there, like a hug or fucking having someone's shoulder or someone's hand there, you know, just to feel that there's another human being. When I allow myself to express my love language in that way and accept those forms of love languages, I start to feel guilty and I start to feel shameful. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, in my mind, this is exactly what I want, and this is exactly what I feel like I miss sometimes, you know. I miss those connections, and so when I have it and I'm running away from it, that's why I'm sitting here, because I want to understand that, right? And I feel like this is something that a lot of us experience, because I posted some videos on my TikTok where I spoke somewhat about this, about fear of abandonment and fear of intimacy. And I got some people telling me, like, hey, this is something I experienced, or that's spot on. Like, that's exactly what happens to me. So I'm like, okay, let's sit down and talk about this, because I feel like since I posted that and since I expressed that, everything's been unraveling, right? I'm like this ball of yarn, and my spirit is pulling the string, and I'm like fucking tumbling and rumbling all the way out until I don't motherfucking know. But you know, I'm unraveling all of this internal, all these internal limitations and conditionings and ways of living that have constantly limited me and constantly placed me in this space of stagnancy and comfort and satisfaction that wasn't really good for me. So where do we even start? Like, where do we start dissecting this? Like, let's give some examples. Let's relive some of the past a little bit, and then from there we can kind of understand. Okay, so let's talk about my love languages. I think we'll start there. So I realized that in receiving love, my love languages can be physical and quality time and affirmations, but more physical. Like, if it's a physical thing that I can see or touch, I may in some ways feel more love that way. Honestly, not too much materials, but just having a human there to care for my body or just care for me. I feel like that makes me feel most loved, and I've been getting more comfortable with it, but sometimes when I allow myself to be loved or cared for, like getting a hug or something, I feel uncomfortable getting those hugs. And I know that's something that makes me feel love. So questioning myself, I'm like, okay, well, why do I feel uncomfortable when someone gives me a hug? What is the reason for that? You know, like kind of goes against the fact that it is my love language. And I feel like some of that stems from the fear of intimacy, fearing that if someone gives me that hug, right? Oh, yeah, I'm about to start crying. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. So it's like fearing if someone shows me the love that makes me feel loved, that I'm going to get attached and I'm going to lose myself again, which has happened before. It's happened when I've gotten so emotionally attached to a person, and then losing them from my life, or just, you know, it's over, it disappears, right? And it took a part of me with that person. It took a part of me with those situations and those memories and those experiences. And that's something I currently fear. And I fear it so much that I limit myself from actually making oh shit, I'm about to cry. From actually making valuable connections with the people around me, because I fear that if they leave or if something happens, that I don't trust myself enough to still be whole. That I don't trust that I'm gonna be able to go back to being the loving and compassionate person. And that's something I really fear, because I'm starting to better understand who Liamzy is. And I'm starting to really fucking love her. And I don't want anyone to ever take that from me. I don't ever want to lose her ever the fuck again, because it is a terrible feeling not knowing who you are, and not knowing, the things that make you happy, and not knowing the things that make you you. And I feel like a majority of my life was like that. I was kind of in the dark. In the dark, I was identifying with every person and every perspective around me, and all of my environments and all of my circumstances. And I didn't feel that I was actually me, and so I fear that intimacy. I fear someone truly seeing me and truly loving me, because I don't want it to be taken away. And like, it makes me feel confused, because that I'm like, because I'm understanding more of who I am, and I'm understanding that I love to love people, and I love to be compassionate, I love to socialize, and I love to be there for people, and I love, oh, excuse me, my nose is itchy. And I love having fun with others and expressing in creative ways. It's like there's this little tug of war going on, because I want to go and do that. I want to be intimate with people. I want to love people physically, and I want people to love me physically, and I want to, explore people's mind and allow people to explore my mind. But then when I'm placed in a connection or in a space where I have the opportunity to do that, it's like it's like my mind blocks off, like, instantly. Like, there might be moments where I'm more comfortable and more expressive. I'm like, okay. But then here comes those thoughts and here comes that conditioning and those perspectives where I would identify with these people and with these environments. So then I get these thoughts where it's like, oh, you're being way too childish right now. You're being way too energetic. You're being way too, like, giggly, or way too silly. Like, you need to go back to being serious. You need to go back to being classy. You need to go back to, acting like you have everything all together. You need to go back to acting like you're perfect. And that's how I fucking lived for a long time. Like, I'd be saying that like I'm fucking 50 years old. Like, I'm young, but it's just a majority of my conscious memories, the memories that I'm still aware of, were like that, where I didn't allow myself to fully be free, because I felt that I would be judged, or I felt that someone would, like, see too much, and view me negatively, and right, and the perspectives of people around me mattered to me at that time, because I identified with it. If someone thought that I was a good person, that I was cool, then that's what I was. If someone thought that I was a fucking, I don't know, like a bad person, or that I was ugly, that's what I was. And so now that I'm breaking all of those perspectives and those cycles, it's like my inner child is she has her one foot out of the door and the other one still inside of that door. And she wants to go run, and she wants to go play, and she wants to go be free. And then there's me, who's now the parent of my inner child. And I'm like, wait, are you sure you want to go do that? Like, wait. Did you remember about all those eggshells on the ground? Did you remember that there's glass on the floor? Did you remember that there's people out there who are going to judge you, who are going to take you, who are going to want to harm you? Like, it's shitty. it's I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be expressive. I want to allow myself to be free. I want to allow myself to be giggly and fun and crazy, because that's who I really am. Like, I'm fucking crazy. Like, I'm crazy in good ways, of course, but that's a part of me that I don't allow everyone to see, or barely anyone to see. People who have seen that side of me, wow. Like, even when I've expressed that side to certain people who I'm gradually getting closer to, right? And I'm starting to trust more and feel more comfortable with. Once those conversations are over, I'm reliving everything that I said to that person. I'm reliving everything that they said to me. And it's like I play it like a movie. I replay it over and over and over, and I'm analyzing myself, and I'm like, oh, like, why did you make that face? Why did you say it that way? Why were you so, like, happy? Why were you so excited? Like, and it's like this constant judgmental ass voice who is always showing me the things that they believe are not right. The things that they believe are not okay, are not accepted in this society or in this environment. I'm like, bruh, I'm fucking over it. Like, please, sir, please. Like, just and I know I'm in full control, and I keep reminding myself of that, and that's why I'm constantly rising from these difficulties and rising from these negative perspectives, because I know they're not mine. I know it's just something that I learned down the line, something that was told to me, something that someone else told me to believe, right? A path that someone told me was the right one to take, and I'm understanding that it's not the right one, but the process can be difficult. The process can be painful. The process can be very uncomfortable. The process can feel like you're fucking hold on, y'all, because literally the past 3 days I've been crying, like, just random moments, just crying my fucking eyes out, because it feels tiring, but then at the same time, I feel like I just want to run through it and get over with it. I know that reliving these emotions and reliving these perspectives and experiences and conditionings is exactly what I need in order to grow and become the greatest version of myself, so that I don't have to struggle with this anymore. But it's like, I do need that help. And as someone who is constantly helping other people, that places me in this state of being, this mind space where it's like, oh, you don't need help. You just need to be there to help others. You just need to be grounded so that you can give advice or be a shoulder to cry on, whatever. And it's like, bro, like, as much as I love to do that, I need someone there for me to feel that I can do that with. And that's what's been kind of difficult for me to accept and understand. It's almost like pride is the devil. J. Cole said it best. Pride is the fucking devil. It's like I have this sense of pride where it's like, well, I'm already seen as a figure who's helping people. I'm already seen as someone who's good with mental health, who's overcome depression, who's overcome suicide, and all these different struggles that I've experienced, right? And it's like, well, like, I can't let them see that I also need help, right? And the truth is, I do need fucking help. I do need help. I've been literally healing myself and working on my mental health on my fucking own. Like, as much as people are there to support me physically, or to give me advice, it's like, I feel that I don't even take that advice. Like, that's how fucking prideful I be sometimes, where it's like, I don't take that advice. I'm like, anyways, I know best. You know what I'm saying? Ugh, that's such a ugly perspective to have. And I don't want to be that way anymore. I don't want to think that way anymore. I want to accept help. I want people to be there to help me carry my burdens, and I want to help people carry their burdens. And everything that I do for other people, whether online or in person, I want someone there to do that for me. And And as much as I want it, it's like I feel guilty for asking for that. I feel guilty for asking for someone to just be there, to be present with me. Like, we don't even have to speak, just be there. Just the presence of another human being. Sometimes I need that, right? Sometimes that's something that we all need. Just to feel that we are supported in ways that are infinite, right? In ways that aren't just physical or mental or emotional, where it's like energetically, spiritually, I'm supported. And there are different ways to show that to each other, to show that to yourself. And I feel like I don't show that to myself. I feel as though I don't give myself that space to be supported, to be loved, to be accepted, to be seen, to be heard, to be listened to. Like, it's so crazy because I'll get so much feedback from people and, like, you know, saying how I help them and all that. It'll make me feel good, like it'll make me feel happy. But then I'm like, okay, anyways, moving on, type of thing. You know, it's like I don't actually give myself the space to be proud of myself. Because I read those words and I'm like, oh, they're happy now. They feel better now. They feel seen. That's good. That's great. But hey, they feel seen and happy because of you. You know, like, I don't actually sit down and do that. And it's always like, okay, it's like I see these things almost like a job, right? And it's like, okay, I need to do this. This is something I need to do. I'm just going to do it and then move on to the next task. Like, what? And it's almost like removing myself from those experiences, removing myself from actually feeling like I'm living it, feeling like I'm doing positive things in my life. And that's why it's like I'll do so much, I'll express so much, I'll help so many people, and then all of a sudden I'm like, well, I feel fucking useless. Isn't that like, I know there's someone listening to this right now who has felt that before. And I know that you know that this is very difficult, that it's such a shitty, confusing feeling, because in the moment of helping someone or in the moment of expressing or whatever, it feels good because you're like, oh yeah, this is going to help somebody, I already know, type of thing. Or just getting the feedback. And then after that, it's like, well, I'm fucking useless. And it's like I constantly put myself in this space where I have to continuously make something or continuously express or continuously do something that is going to help someone else. And then whole time I feel like I'm not valuable unless I'm doing that. Like, unless I'm creating or expressing something that is going to in some way benefit the world, I don't feel that I'm valuable. I don't feel that I'm worth that love. I don't feel that I'm worth that support. I don't feel that I'm worth fucking anything. And so that's why I feel that when people offer these things for me, or they offer to help me, oh shit, here comes the tears. or they just genuinely want to love me and they express their love in their love languages. I'm like, well, I don't want to take this because I don't have anything to give back to you. and it's like, you don't have to always have something to give back to a person in order to be deserving of whatever they're giving to you. Because sometimes people truly just want to love and support you and care for you because you're simply who you are. Because of the way that you love, because of the comfort and the energy that you bring into their lives. And whether it's material or something you can buy or whatever, it's like, you don't need to have that, you know, in your back pocket to give to someone when someone loves you. It is okay to just accept someone's love and accept someone's care or accept someone's gifts and just take it and say thank you and feel grateful for it. That's okay. And that's something that I don't understand sometimes. And it's difficult for me to understand that, because I feel that I've always been conditioned to always give something back to a person when they give me something, right? It was never, oh, they gifted you this, you know, just accept it and acknowledge it and use it or whatever. It was always like, oh, they gave me this, but I don't have anything to give back. So it's like, it gets hectic, and then you have to like dig into your wallet and whatever. Like, those are things that I've seen growing up. That's things that I always saw growing up, where it's like you always had to have some kind of exchange in order for you to be loved or cared for, in order for you to be gifted something, in order for someone to want to help you had to give something back. And that really fucked me up, because now sometimes I feel like, when someone's helping me, in my mind I'm like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do in order to give back to them, and yeah, I'm not saying that you can't give back to a person. You absolutely can, but to constantly feel that you can't accept something unless you have something to give to them, I feel like that really limits and restricts how much I accept from people. And I've had people want to help me with my creations and my expressions, or my businesses or whatever, and it's like, I feel so guilty. I feel so guilty. And at first I was like, oh, I'm just humble, whatever. And it's not that I was humble, it's that I constantly devalued myself. I constantly felt that I wasn't deserving of fucking anything unless I gave something up of myself, and I don't think that that's a way that we should ever feel. Even for me, like, as I'm sitting here speaking about these things, it's almost like I'm having a conversation with my little me, right? Telling her the things that she's experienced, and just ways that we can change that perspective. Because it's okay to be loved. It is okay to be cared for. It is okay to be surrounded by people who support you, and it's okay for someone to want to help you without you having to overgive. Or this is something else too, where it's like, someone will want to help me, like in certain experiences that I have, where it's like someone will want to help me, but then I'm like, well, why are you helping me, type of thing. Like, I mean, it kind of relates to what I was just saying, but it's almost like I'll look for any other reason as to why, okay, rude car. I'll look for any other reason as to why this person is helping me, right? Like almost like an excuse for me to accept it. So yeah, it does go back to what I was saying, but just a different perspective of me seeing it. It's like, I would look for any excuse for me to accept that love, whether it be, excuse me, if I don't accept it, they're gonna feel bad. Like that would be my excuse to accept whatever, a person was offering to me, if they were trying to help me or just give me love, whatever. And I don't know. I just wanted to sit and kind of talk about this, because it's very heavy to uncondition your conditionings, to break down, old perspectives, and break down everything that was taught to you, to then reteach yourself certain things. And in order to reteach yourself, new ways of living, you have to experience. You have to experience the more negative and heavier aspects, so that you can know, well, what are the more positive things that I need to introduce into my life. And so I feel like that's what I've been experiencing lately. More of the, ooh, my nose is so itchy. More of the, actually both of more negative and positive aspects of intimacy, and connecting with people and being vulnerable. And it's almost like now, when I do experience positive intimacy or positive connections, and spaces where they are allowing me to be vulnerable, those little negative ones creep in, and they're like, oh, but do you remember when this happened? You can't be open because they're gonna take you, they're gonna break you, they're gonna fucking whatever, And all I'm gonna say is, it is worth it, okay? Everything you're feeling, it is worth it. It's gonna work out for you. It is happening for you. Remember, the highest mountains are the toughest to climb, but they hold the most beautiful views, okay? So just keep that in mind. Keep in mind, as you're climbing these tough mountains and jumping these hurdles, like, hey, once I'm through Once I am through, the view that I'm going to have is going to be the biggest blessing of my fucking life. Okay? And you do deserve that. And there are going to be people on that path and on that hike who are going to offer you certain things that are going to help you, that are going to alleviate your burdens, are going to alleviate the pain and the ache. Okay? But you are going to make it to the top. And when you make it to the top, you scream and you let go of whatever the fuck you took up there with you. Okay? And that is your blessing. The happiness, the relief, the abundant flow of amazing things, okay? So yes, it is worth it. Yes, it is difficult to refuel wounds and relive them. It's like you're pouring alcohol in your wound right now. It fucking burns like hell, but once that's all over with, you might still feel a little bit of pain, but it's healing. And once it's healed, you'll no longer feel that. And you'll feel 10 times better than before, okay? So it's all a process. And in times of weakness, remind yourself of your strength. In times of confusion, you become the light. Ask Spirit to guide you, okay? You are not alone. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay to accept love and support from others. It's okay to want to sit down and talk about what's on your mind. You don't have to keep it to yourself all of the time. You don't have to constantly feel like you have to be strong, like you have to be a warrior, that you have to show up for every single person who needs help in your life when you also need help, right? It's okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel shitty sometimes. It's okay to lose that sense of passion, okay? Because everything happens for a reason. But as long as you are constantly just trying to help yourself, trying to love yourself, trying to just be better, okay? In whatever form that looks. Sometimes being better is laying in bed all day. Because sometimes we need that rest, right? Sometimes being better is eating a little bit of junk food. Just because sometimes you need to treat yourself, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes being better is going for a jog, going for a walk, getting some fresh air, sitting with a friend and talking about certain things, going out and having some fun, right? Alleviating yourself. There's so many things that we can do, and if you're constantly limiting yourself because you feel that you don't deserve these breaks, that you don't deserve this rest, that you don't deserve to heal, you are never going to heal. You are never going to improve, and you are never going to grow. And goddamn, hold on, my butt cheek fell asleep. I went to the gym today, girl. I did lower body, and my glutes are a little they're a little sore. But yeah, like, no one said it was gonna be easy. That song started playing in my head. I forgot the name of it, but no one said it was going to be easy. But it also doesn't have to be so hard, right? There's so many ways that we can help ourselves. There's so many ways and different things and people and places that we can reach out to. This is community. Community is meant to help you heal, right? It's not that they're going to carry all of your burdens for you and heal your wounds for you, but they can help you. They can give you ingredients, and you can cultivate your own little creations and concoctions to help yourself heal faster, right? And we all need that. You cannot isolate yourself your whole entire life and expect yourself to be the most superior, enlightened being, because I don't think that that's realistic. I think to be enlightened, you must connect both with yourself internally and with the world externally. I think that's that true balance, right? And it can be difficult when you're so used to being in your own energy and only being open and vulnerable with yourself, which I feel like is what I'm used to, right? I'm used to being vulnerable and being authentic and being intimate with myself. And so when I'm around others, it's like, I don't know if I can trust you enough to be vulnerable and intimate with you. And it's okay to have those thoughts here and there, but if you allow those thoughts to constantly limit how much you connect with a person or limit how much you express or who you are, if you allow those thoughts to change who you are, don't do it. That's when changes need to happen. That's when growth and healing needs to happen. That's when we need to go back to ourselves and reflect, right? And now that I understand that sometimes I still fear that intimacy, that I fear being myself around others, I've been sitting and having conversations and moments of reflection with myself where I'm like, okay, well, guess what? I'm not going to isolate you. I'm going to place you in social spaces so that you get used to the feeling of being an individual around other individuals, so that you get used to being yourself and expressing yourself and having your own thoughts and your own opinions and talking about things that you usually don't feel the most comfortable talking about because it's so interpersonal. It's something you feel passionate about, right? I'm going to place you in those spaces where you have to do it because you need to get out of your comfort zone, because you need to feel that you truly are an individual, because you are an individual, Liamzy. Right? And I feel like sometimes we get so caught up with fucking trends and social media and all of these societal beliefs and structures that we forget that we are individuals who have thoughts and opinions and certain ways of living that we might prefer that is better for us. And it is okay to do that. It is okay to have different perspectives from the people around you. It is okay to still be in a healthy community and want different things from them, right? Like a healthy relationship, a healthy connection, a healthy community, a healthy environment, whatever. It's not that every single person there wants or creates or does the same things. It's that they all accept one another. They all accept that we are all individuals. We are all humans. We all want different things. We all want to, at the end of the day, just be happy. Just find the best way that works for us. And maybe what my neighbor does isn't what works for me, but, I still accept them. I'm like, okay, what works for you works for you. There's no space for me to ever judge a person for being different, right? And so I need to open that same perspective for myself. There's no space for me to judge myself for being different from the people around me, right? Because I'm also just trying to understand myself. I'm trying to understand what is the best way for me to live, what are the best things for me to do, the best ways for me to express. And yeah, it might feel a little confusing sometimes because I'm so used to just accepting what someone tells me and implementing that into who I think I should be instead of accepting who I truly am. But it takes time. It takes time. So I'm excited for what's to come. I'm excited to build new levels of intimacy with people. I'm excited to be open again. I'm excited to socialize again and accept love and not fear so much. And that fear of feeling that someone is going to steal that joy and light from me, it's such a scary ass feeling. Like if you've experienced that feeling before, I'm sending you so much love and light because it's so fucking scary, especially when you feel that if that were to ever happen, that there's no one there who's ever going to help you get that light back or save you from that, or protect you from that. And it's very like push and shove kind of feeling, because it's like, okay, well, if I want someone to be there to protect me and help me, I have to be intimate and open with a person and vulnerable. But if I'm intimate and open and vulnerable with a person, I fear that they're going to be the one to take that from me, right? So it's like, yo, give me a fucking break. Give me a goddamn break. Like, I don't know, y'all. Like, we're healing. We're doing what we have to do. We are finding the comfort in the uncomfortable. We are creating the peace in the chaos, and we're going to get through it, okay? And remember, this space is always open for you to share just as much as I'm sharing with you. This is also me practicing being vulnerable, right? Not always showing up as the warrior, not always showing up as someone who has all the answers. I don't have all the fucking answers. I most definitely do not. Like, the way I've been sitting in confusion and cloudiness, these past couple of days has been fucking insane. Like, I felt like I was losing my mind. I felt like I was falling back into my depression and the darkness and everything. And it's like, I know that those feelings are just things that are passing, right? It's a normal response for my mind to instantly fall into fight or flight when certain things make me feel uncomfortable, because the human mind is created to help you survive. It's not created to come up with the most peaceful things, right? Like when something happens, the mind instantly goes into fight or flight because it's like, whoa, I need to protect you. I need to keep you alive. So it's going to use anything, whether it's negative or positive, to help keep you alive. So it's just about us gaining that control again. It's about us understanding, well, how does my mind work so that I can work with it instead of against it? So that I can naturally flow with these occurrences and experiences in my life, and instead of seeing it as something that's destroying me or seeing it as something that's evil or trying to steal me, right? See it as something that's teaching me something that is going to help me improve. And it can be difficult to do that, but it is not impossible. Okay? So we are here doing it together. And my socials are all open, always, always, always. And you can talk to me. We can talk to each other. We can be vulnerable. We can practice being vulnerable and intimate with each other. Like, this is all an experience, a very new experience for me. And maybe it's new for you as well. So let's kind of explore together. There's no room for hate. There's no room for judgment. I want to hold love for everyone, every fucking person. Like, even people who I've come across who hold so much negativity and just heavy energy within them, as much as I want to hate them and push them away, I'm like, yo, like, you are human, you need healing, you need support. And I want to offer that to you. Not to the expense of my own peace and my own healing, right? But I still want to offer that to you just to show you that it does exist, that it can happen, that you do have love and support around you. You don't have to be alone all the time. And as much as I'm saying this, like, so genuinely, it's like I need to remind myself of that same exact thing, where it's like there are moments when I feel very, very heavy and I feel like I'm anchored to the fucking depths of hell. And in those moments I might feel alone and I might seclude myself and I might push everyone away, but it's like, it's not that I don't want anyone there with me, is that I don't want them to see that side of me, because that's the side of me that I don't really like sometimes. Feeling those heavy emotions is not something I'm very fond of. I very much prefer the bright and energetic and loving Liamzy, but the truth is there are many layers to me. There is a dark Liamzy, there is a sad Liamzy, there is an angry Liamzy, there is a Liamzy who is hurting and broken and feeling all these crazy emotions, and that's the one who I keep to myself, because I'm scared that if I give her away, that she's either gonna hurt someone or that someone is gonna damage her even more. And that's scary. That's a very scary feeling for me, right? And I'm never gonna know what it feels like for someone else to love and care for her as much as I do if I don't allow her to be seen, if I don't allow her to be loved, if I don't allow her to be cared for. So, just throwing those, yo, my damn butt cheeks. I don't, I'm so sorry, y'all. But it's like, sometimes we have to sit in the uncomfortable feelings and uncomfortable spaces to better understand ourselves. As strange as that sounds, right? We need to do that. That's something that needs to happen. And yeah, you don't have to do it alone. Yes, Liamzy, it is okay for you to ask for help. It is okay for you to be open around people. It is okay for you to cry in front of someone. Yo, like yesterday, actually, I was crying. Oh my God, my nose. I was crying. I started crying like at the gym, and I was like, bro, like, I need to get out of here. So I left, and then I sat with a friend and we kind of spoke about it, and I started crying even more, and I felt so fucking like, ugh, Like, I was glad someone was there with me in that moment, but then at the same time, I'm like, ew, like, why am I fucking crying in front of him? Like, what the fuck? Like, you fucking weak bitch. Like, it was like my inner child was happy, but then at the same time, like, oh, like, why are you letting this person into your vulnerable space, you know? And that was that conditioning, that judgment, that ego, that pride, where it wasn't allowing that side of Liamzy to be seen and to be loved and to be appreciated and to be heard without feeling like, oh, I feel guilty because I'm not loving someone. I feel guilty because I'm not being happy and leading as an example of happiness, right? But it's like, we can't achieve happiness without experiencing pain and sadness. So if you want to lead as an example of what happiness is, you have to also lead through sadness and anger and emotions that we all experience, because that's what's going to lead to that happiness, right? So, you know, there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. Absolutely not. There's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. That simply shows that you're a human. Your struggles are proof that you are human. If you just floated through fucking life and you ain't feel not a damn thing, you are not human. You might as well be a damn piece of paper floating through the air. Like it's just a normal aspect, and it's okay for other people to see that. It's okay for other people to see that you are actually a human being and not a fucking AI or a robot or this perfect Barbie or this bad bitch energy. Like, oh, these trends and these social media get-ups and things that are just highlighted and constantly pushed onto you, those are not real. Those are not real. Like, just be yourself. Just be authentic. Just be human. Feel your emotions. It's okay to not always be like this boss bitch energy type of thing. Like, it's okay for you to be a sad bitch. You know, like, it's okay for you to be a fucking sluggish bitch and just lay down and allow yourself to feel these emotions and allow yourself to be cared for and allow for someone else to pay for your things or love you or take you out and take care of you. Like, you don't have to constantly be in go mode. You don't have to constantly be this warrior, this soldier. Like, take off that armor for a second. Take it off just for a second and see what's under there and see that you still got cut up and you have scars and wounds that are all types of infected and crazy and dirty under there. Like, you're never going to see that unless you take off that armor, unless you put down those walls. You're never going to truly see who you are and what you really actually need and what matters, right? Just take the time. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Before I continue to ramble on, oh my gosh, my nose is like crazy right now. I think I got cat hair in my nose. But yeah, that's more so what I wanted to touch base on. See, this was a very relieving conversation to have. These are the type of conversations I'll be having with myself. Like, I talk to myself in third person the same way that you just heard me do, right? And it really helps because it's like, you know, as much as I would want someone there to say all those things for me, I'm like, if I'm able to say that to myself, that's empowering for me. That shows me that, yes, all that I need and my value is within me. So I want to be able to share that with someone. And I want someone else to be there to acknowledge it just as much, you know? Not to the point where I feel that I need a person to validate me, because I used to feel that way. And there are some moments when I still feel that way. But I'm starting to kind of learn that, oh my gosh, my nose is crazy. I'm starting to learn that, you know, I don't really need that validation, because I've proven to myself that anytime I fall down, I can be the one to pick myself up. But I'm also proving to myself that sometimes when I fall and it's a big fall or it's a fall of exhaustion, that sometimes I do need someone to kind of give me a little hand and help me get up. You know, it's not that they're carrying me. I'm still using my own 2 feet, but they're giving me that extra boost, and that's okay. Right? This is the same message, just different visuals. Yeah, it would be like that. The same message, just different visuals. But, oh, sorry. But y'all, I really think that this concludes the conversation. If you have more things to add to it, if you got inspired or a thought just kind of crept up as I was speaking, feel free to contact with me, get in contact with me, connect with me, share those thoughts, share those perspectives, because it does matter to me. Okay, like, don't be shy, like, it's okay. We're just humans. It's okay to connect with me. So yeah, this is the end of the episode. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for holding the space for me to sit and talk and be vulnerable and be intimate with you, right? Talk about things that I don't usually talk about. I really do appreciate you. You know, as much as we try to lead as a strong example, sometimes showing people those sides and those moments of weakness is being strong, right? Because you have the courage and the bravery to show every level and every aspect of yourself rather than just the strong, bold one, right? I love you so much. Hope you have an amazing morning, day, evening, night, whatever it may be for you, my beautiful, beautiful soul, because you are deserving of the best and only the best things universe has to offer. Mwah.